Charlie Gunningham doesn't need any introduction. He is a celebrity in his own right. While we clear the floor here, he's going to be talking to us about this year's Innovation Booster Grant, which I'm sure we all want to get cash on, and I'm sure they're going to be inundated with applications this year. But I'm looking forward to hearing it. I guess I got a sneak peek of the slides just before Charlie, when he sent it through, so we could put it in this deck. And it looks like it's heading in the exact direction what we all want. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Charlie to the stage. Okay. I would hold both of them because they tend to...
Okay, this is weird. You've all been sitting down. Do you want to stand up and just shake it out a bit? Because, you've got another talk, so you might just stand up, shake it out. Come on, Cheryl, let's get up. Woo! All right. 7:45, Perth Morning Startup. Yeah. Woo, feel better? Morning. Morning. Yeah. Hey, Joe, how are you? Nice to see you. Lots of friends in the room. What is happening to these slides? They're like automatically going on. Scott, you're failing straight away. But yeah, Charlie Gunningham, very nice to see such a packed room. Awesome to see Perth Video, Jürgen, live streaming. Really glad that we could sort that out this year. Been a long time coming. And, oh, cool, something else to hold. Excellent. Yeah. Perth Fringe? Yeah. And I was in the middle of my stream. Oh, I was going to thank Scott and Dave. Where's Dave scuttled off to? There he is at the back. Because, Perth Morning Startup, 11 years? What is happening with this? Okay, this is great. It's one of those things, Roto Tech Fest a few years ago, where the slides automatically move on after a few seconds to keep you talking. Anyway, I'm not going to talk for too long. Maybe have some questions. Got some exciting things to announce, which will come out in a media statement later today. But I'm Charlie, if you've not met me before, sort of 20 plus years in the sector, and director of the New Industries Fund. So if you want to direct yourself to the New Industries Fund, which is a bit that supports startups in state government, it's wa.government.au/NIF, New Industries Fund. So the NIF as we know it. And the New Industries Fund, but I'll get onto that in a sec, because first I should acknowledge that we're meeting today on the land of the Whadjuk people of Noongar Nation. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present, emerging, and to all the lands people on the live stream and watching this in catch-up. It is a joy to be standing on Whadjuk country this morning. And the New Industries Fund incorporates $16.7 million over 4 years and a variety of, which you can't really see in very small type there, programs and initiatives that are used to showcase and support the emerging new industries. So things like Innovation Booster Grants, which used to be called Innovation Voucher Program. The Innovator of the Year you've probably heard of. Extend Grants, where we try and support the scaffolding of the startup sector, so the programs and stuff of it. WA Venture Support, which I agree with what Tim said. We should have more national venture firms here. We should also have some WA firms here with WA money investing in WA startups. Everyone say aye. That was pretty pathetic. Everyone say aye? Aye. Yeah, so very good that later this week we'll be announcing the 3 new WA firms that we are backing and helping co-fund in their first few years, which is very exciting because that's 3 new WA early stage venture capital firms. The innovation hubs, the sponsorships, Deal Room, where we actually track all the deals and data and startups and funding and VCs and government grants and the ecosystem, basically. And then REAG, which is the regional, wonderful, one of my new favorite words, the Regional Industry Innovation Advisory Group. So we want to make sure that we have a regional lens in everything we do. So in December, you might have been at West Tech Fest at the main conference. Who was actually at the main conference of West Tech Fest? Very good. Where the Minister for Innovation, Stephen Dawson, got up and announced that we've got this innovation strategy. So a pretty bold 10-year vision. And what was exciting was there were 7 commitments from the WA government. Here they are. And I'm sure you're all across it. If not, you'd go to innovation.wa.gov.au to read the innovation strategy. You could just, if you don't want to read much, it's just one page. It's on one page, summarised, but it's only about a 25-page document. But it's got some exciting sort of things, such as access to capital, where the WA government has made some commitments, and procurement and supply chains and other things. But really, I'm going to talk about the Innovation Booster Grant. Formerly, the Innovation Voucher Program has been going since about 2011, and we've handed out about 233 grants over 20 years of around about $20,000 as the maximum you could get. So that works out to just under $4 million over 11 years. I mean, not a lot of money, but as my granddad would have said, better than a slap in the face with a damp squib. I don't even know what that means, but I sort of get the emotion of it. Last year, we had budget for 20, but we actually managed to find extra budget and we handed out 34, so that was good. So we handed out 34 founders, got 20 grand, and I was delighted to see that 15 of those are female founders, 4 in the regions, and 1 Indigenous founder. As a white, middle-aged guy in the city, it's hard enough doing a startup. I've done one myself through to exit. I've made all the mistakes, got the scars, got the badge, but it's harder if you're in the regions. It's harder if you're Indigenous. It's harder if you're a female founder. So we want to go further and try and find where these people are. The applicant feedback is, yeah, that's great, but it's not very much money, 20 grand. It hasn't risen in more than 10 years. And, these days, 20 grand doesn't go very far. So also, why do you have to use a service provider? It was a voucher program. You basically had to go and spend the money first and then claim it back. Well, claim 80% of it back. Right? Not very founder-friendly for a startup founder who hasn't got much money, then has to actually find the money for the 25 grand and then claim 20 grand back, right? Not very friendly. Not very founder-friendly. So we're making some changes in 2023. Okay, so I show my age. Yeah, I grew up in the 70s. We're making the grant 40 grand. Still 2080, so that means the project can be, say, 50. If you go for a 50 grand project, how it works is, then 40 grand of that will pay for it, and you come up with 10. So you've still got some skin in the game, but which you'd like to see, but we will pay 80% of it. Oh, for goodness sake, these slides. I think they're set to automatically go on. All right, we have only got the funds, though, for 25 grants, but you work out that is actually $1 million. Including 5 in life sciences. So I've got 20 in my budget, and then my friends at life sciences have got budget for 5. So we're looking for 5, at least 5 in life sciences and 20 in any industry, agnostic. All right? The other big change is you don't have to use a service provider. You can use up to 3 service providers if you want, but you can also use your own tech team. People have been asking about that one for years, right? So you can use internal resources, preferably WA resources, right? And even better, for cash flow, you can invoice us for half straight away. Thank you for the ripple of applause. So invoice us half up front. So it actually opens today, about midday. It'll be open for a month. And then when we have evaluated it, look, guys, this gets massively oversubscribed, and I understand making it more founder-friendly and giving more money, there's going to be even more applications. So think carefully about the time and effort and whether you're going to be competitive, etc., over it. But if you do so and you do at the end win or awarded a grant, it's going to be around about mid-May, and you can immediately invoice us for 20 grand right up front. So we want you to start innovating straight away. The ones that we've chosen, we want you to just get going, right? We don't need to stop that happening. So we want half the money out straight away, and then at the end of the project, so the latest end of June next year, probably a lot of you won't take that long, so as soon as you finish the project and you've then gone back to us with it, then the second half, the balance, right, the other half can then be invoiced. The new bit, which is not too bad, Cheryl, you'll recognize this from AC, but it's much better than that horrible spreadsheet we used to work with. It's a much simpler spreadsheet. We do expect a project plan. So we do expect month by month how you're going to spend those and equip those money, because then we can see when the second half is going to come, right? That's all we ask. A very simple spreadsheet. That's all we're asking. So good changes, I think, in 2023. Long overdue, and that's great. Who can apply for this Innovation Booster Grant? You've got to have a current ABN, ACN registered in WA, and you're developing an innovative project. So this is not for business as usual. We basically don't fund companies, we fund projects. So you've got an innovative project that you've been trying to commercialize, and you're stuck somewhere, and you are deserving of this money. We want to find the founders where this will make the most impact, right? So if you have raised millions of dollars from VCs, you're probably not going to get an innovation booster grant, because we could say that's probably not a need for funding for someone like you. But if this will make a big impact, this will really move you along the journey, wherever you are, and you can demonstrate that in your application, then you could be deserving of one. Business will continue to be based in WA the next 3 years, we expect, and a solvent business with less than 25 staff, and you can contribute 20%, all right? So the 20/80. So if it's so we're talking about 20% of 50,000, say. So that would be what you'd put in, say 10 grand, and then the other 40 you'd ask for us, or you'd ask for less than 50. Eligible spending. This will all be on the NIF website. It's all in the guidelines, but just to give you an idea, we're looking at sort of R&D, product development. So founder wants to build an MVP sort of thing. Get that founder from where they are to commercialization. Get an MVP in their hands. Get them out there with some clients. Maybe some IP, patent advice, patents or IP work, licensing. Commercialization supports, you want to bring someone in and plug them in, a marketing or a commercialization expert, strategic expert, something like that. So whether it's compliance testing or engineering work or prototype development, that all falls under eligible expenditure, okay? What is not eligible is just normal business as usual stuff that's not part of this innovative project. Clear? So we're looking to fund a project which will get you as far as we think that can get you. If you are to use a service provider, and again, we're changing the rules. It's a bit confusing when you change the rules. You don't have to. In the previous 11 years, you've had to use a service provider. You can use up to 3 service providers. Then we prefer that they are a WA service provider. So, you know, a patent lawyer or a commercialization expert but based in Perth or whatever, that is going to get you from where you want to be with maximum impact to where you want to go. Then that's what we expect. If there is a compelling reason why you have to use someone out of state, then make that case, and that can be adjudged to be okay. How do we evaluate it? We evaluate it on 5 criteria of equal weight, and we have an evaluation committee of excellent people that have been selected who are very well versed in startup funding and commercialization and IP law and R&D and all that sort of stuff. Hand-selected to evaluate what would be, you know, a lot of applications, bless them, and they don't get paid for it, but they're fantastic for doing what they do. The first one is need for funding. So is this person, is this founder, is this project, there's a genuine need for funding here? Why should the state government be funding this project? That needs to be very clearly articulated by you if you're applying in that very first box. It's all done online, it's pretty simple, using the Good Grants platform, and there's just 5 boxes, and you fill them in, and they're all evaluated. So how will this directly help you complete the project? Why do you deserve WA government funding? Why can't you find this project yourself? Why can't you fund it? Have you tried to raise funds elsewhere? Number 2, what level of impact and change? We're looking for maximum impact here. So new jobs, emerging companies, diversifying the economy, which obviously comes many years down the line, but you've got to try and make that argument. But more immediate, what are the tangible benefits of this project? Going to get you to revenue? Is it going to scale up your business? What's going to be, is it going to lead to future capital raising, collaboration, tech transfer? So what's the level of impact? We're obviously looking for as much impact as we can with the limited funds that we've got and the limited number of projects we can back. Right? Capability and capacity, we've got to say that, yeah, you can actually fulfill on this project. You've got the people, the in-house skills, you're bringing in the skills you don't have to complete, say with service providers, to complete this project, but you have the capability and the oomph and the capacity to get this done. You have a competitive advantage, obviously. We want to back projects that will then compete in the marketplace, and yes, national, global marketplace. We want to see WA companies excel from here, stay here, go global from here. As this WA state government, of course we do. And if you have to fly away and do great things, we hope you come back and recycle all that amazing capital and experience that you've learned. But we don't want to feel that you have to leave just for the sake of leaving, that you won't be backed here, you won't be supported here, you won't have a network here, right? So we want to build great tech companies here and great startups here of all sorts. And collaboration, so that you've got the team, the advisors around you, you've got all the resources, the human resources and people you require and maybe mentors and maybe an advisory board, or maybe you're bringing in service providers or you're bringing in experts, right, for this project. But basically, you've got that collaboration you need to get this done and go and, do great things. The new bit, and don't worry, I won't ask you, there won't be tests on this spreadsheet later, but just to show you, you will need to download this spreadsheet, which is a new thing you have to do. It's a bit complicated, so to download the spreadsheet and fill it in with your suggested costs of your project, and then load it up with your application, okay? Just to show you how you're spending the money over the months of the project, because what then happens is the total cost of the project is then calculated at the end, and then your cash contribution is put in, and immediately we can see what the first half of the grant will look like, all right? Deadline. All right, so it's the 15th of February. Hope you had a very nice Valentine's Day yesterday. That's all over. Love and kisses finished. Now the hard work begins. You're going to evaluate whether you think you are right and you're going to be eligible. You have a project. I presume because some of you are here and it's pretty packed, a lot of you believe so, and I have no idea how many people are in the regions watching this or watching this on catch-up, but I presume there's going to be quite a lot of applicants. But we do have a very hard, fast, cold, lead-laden deadline. That is 11 a.m. WA time on the 15th of March, a month today. And that is not changing. So that's 4 weeks only. 4 weeks to do your application. It's not that hard. I would expect those of you who are going to be competitive would already be jumping onto it sometime this afternoon and creating your first, well, you can go into Good Grant System and then sort of create your own account and then have a look through. Don't leave this to the night before. It's not university, right? You don't get no prizes for staying up till 3 in the morning and doing an all-nighter. And I don't think the quality of the application will be very good. So get it done early. You can see as a former teacher, those people at the back, especially you, Jason, right? Matthew, I'm looking at you, Matthew. Don't leave it too late, right? You are allowed, Daniel, to put it in early. Okay, you can submit early. You're a former teacher, you get that. You're allowed to apply early. You don't have to leave it till the last day, right? And yet, every year, that's exactly what happens. And half the applications come in the last few hours. Don't do that. The dog ate my homework, and suddenly your thing's crashed, and it's all, you haven't got your internet anymore, and you can't get it in, and that's your fault, not mine. Got it? Clear? Get it in early. You can submit early. Even if you submit early, you can still go back and edit it. Wow. The wonders of internet technology. So even though you've submitted it and go, submit, I finished, you can I could have put this in. But if you've done it a few days before, you can go back and you can edit it further. All right? So, clear? That is a 3-line horrible deadline, 15th of March, 2023, 11 a.m., and we'll be announcing the recipients in mid-May, and I wish you all the best with your applications. And of course, you can ask us at the innovation team, innovation@jitsi.wa.gov.au. If you've got any questions, you'll be invoiced half up front, and then a year to spend the second half. And how am I doing for time? Not too bad. Is that all right? I'm getting the thumbs up. So some important dates. We will be announcing 3 new Wave-supported VC funds in WA. That's pretty exciting. The 24th of Feb, in other news from the New Industries Fund, we'll be opening a new round of Extend. We'll be announcing the follow-on funding for the people that got Extend last year, about 5 or 6 from last year, continuing with their programs this year. Some wonderful programs, including Venture X and others, which are great. Help female founders. There's an Indigenous founder called Create down in Bunbury, a great program there. Some wonderful programs continuing this year. But we do have some money left for some new programs. So those of you who run programs may be interested, where we can help fill the gaps, cracks, and overlaps of the system of the WA startup scene broadly around the state. On the 28th of February, we'll be opening our WA Creative Tech Hub in Bunbury. This got announced last year. They've now fully employed their staff, and they've got their office, and that's going to be exciting as well. So if you're in the creative tech, and it's a very broad area, do interact with WACTI, my new favourite word, the WA Creative Tech Hub. And yes, on the 8th and 9th of March, don't forget South Start. I think it'd be great to get over to South Start. We're certainly going to be over there. One of my team's going to be over there. We're going to be taking some companies over there for the first time, because apparently last year Brodie was there on his own, and that's just not good enough. So I think Brodie's taking a few from Spacecubed. So it'd be good to get some people to think broader than the WA market, start connecting with venture capital in Adelaide and everything that's going on there. 2 days, like think West Tech Fest with wine, right? South Star. 15th of March is the deadline for IB submissions. What time of day?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Good. 5 points to you. Well, good. And in May, we'll be launching the WA Innovator of the Year. So for those of you who want to put your innovation, whether you're in the growth or emerging category, on a real pedestal, a fantastic program. That's that. And in June, MIT REAP, which is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Regional Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program, will be coming to Perth, because we won the bid to actually host that in WA, which is very exciting. So all the other cohort from like Hungary and Brazil and Dominican Republic and Kansas City, who also won the Super Bowl. Wow, they all must be partying. They're coming over end of June, last week in June. So there's going to be lots of very exciting things happening last week of June, when the whole MIT program comes here. And we are getting to host the workshops. So lots on in the next few months. Happy to have any questions. Thanks for your attention. Best luck with your application. And you, of course, with your massively fantastic innovations. Thank you.
Questions? We have time for questions, which would be good. So I'll be the roving mic, and you hold one, and
okay, cool.
We've got one down here.
Hello.
Hi Charlie, my name's Jackie. I'm from glome.au. That's my website.
Glome.au.
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 Yes. The question about the spreadsheet.
Yes.
You talked about us contributing 10%, 20%, sorry, 80-20 rule.
Yes.
What if you've already had some investment? Is there an area where you can record what you've spent to date?
No, it's future spending. So this is a project in the future.
Yep.
And that would be worth, say, just for simple maths, $50,000 project.
Yep.
And you're going to contribute $10,000 to that project and ask us to contribute 40.
I suppose
So
why
in the future. So past spending is not allowed.
Why I ask that is because I'm going for stage 4. I've already done the first 3 stages, so I want to be acknowledged for the fact that I've already done 3 of the 4 stages.
Well, we acknowledge you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are acknowledged. Hereby acknowledged.
Thank you.
Well done.
Here we go. Another question here.
Hello, Charlie. We are founders for Co-Kids.
Name?
Co-Kids.
And your name?
Alex.
Hi, Alex. Good to see you. Alex Shi.
Alex Shi, thank you.
Good to see you, Alex.
Hi, nice to see you again. So we recently created a new Co-Kids Foundation, which is a public company with a very short history. So we aim to teaching coding to regional area in WA. So in consideration of the grant, just wondering, is a criteria for established company a public sector, or is company, are you considering the length of a creation of the company, or it doesn't really matter? So I'm thinking about which company we'll try to apply for.
I mean, I don't think, so I'm not really allowed to comment on who's eligible, who's not, who's competitive, who's not. But we're looking for, if you look to the criteria there, we're clearly looking for early stage startup founders, you know, tech transfer, R&D, maybe commercialize, getting you from here to here. So you'd have to think about whether you'd qualify. But we can have that discussion offline. I'll also get myself into trouble. Cheryl, the wonderful Cheryl Frame. How are you,
Thanks for the
Cheryl?
introduction, Charlie. Everybody knows me.
Of course, as they should.
With the previous grant applications, you used to have to submit supporting documentation from the service suppliers. What sort of supporting documentation
Thank
do you
you
need
very
for
much
this one?
for that question. You can also, not just the project plan, you can also attach some documentation to it. If you are using a service provider, then yes, you need to upload quotation from them, etc., showing what they're going to be doing for your project. And then you could also, whatever you think, it's difficult to know, what you think is going to help your application, a couple of attachments, reasonably sized, can also be added. Yeah, that's all in the Good Grants program platform. Hello.
Hi, Charlie.
Eunice, right?
Yes, maybe.
Was that yes, maybe, or yes, maybe?
Anything.
I thought it was nice to introduce yourself because other people might not know. So Eunice from?
Yes, my name is Eunice. I'm from Customer Experience Insight, but I got a new idea, new startup that I'm
Fantastic.
going to build. It's related to diversity and inclusion. So my question would be, if I have to develop, because this is a very early stage of the startup, if I want to develop and it needs more than maybe, because you're talking about 80-20, right? Like 40 is the max and 10,000 is like the 20 part. Yes. If we need to spend more than that, how we put that in?
Yep. You can have projects. You can have projects more than 50 grand. The maximum grant is 40. So the maximum support we'd give is 80%. Right. So if your project is 55 grand, that's fine. You can contribute the 25. We'll contribute the 40. Okay. So the max. So 20/80. The 80% is a maximum. We're not going to contribute more than that. We can contribute less.
Who's got a question? Here we go. Remember, introduce your name, company,
Jack.
and your question.
G'day, Jack from Ammo Marketing. My question actually is related to the VC funds. Can I ask a question about the VC funds?
No. We'll talk about that later.
Next time.
Jack, you're very naughty. I can't talk about anything that hasn't been announced by the minister. You know that. You're very naughty. We're waiting for the announcement.
Other questions? One at the front here.
But I love you, Jack. Jack from Ammo. You see, it's guerrilla advertising. It's what they do.
That was a good try. G'day,
Joe.
It's Joe from UWA. I've got a question around just benchmarking, getting a sense. So we know this is a really competitive program. Are there any examples online of past projects? Yes. So you can just get a feel? So
all the past winners are on the NIF website. So if you go to wa.gov.au/NIF, you'll see programs. Go to Innovation Booster Grants. All the amounts that people have won last year, for example. We're also putting it onto Deal Room, aren't we, Liam? Liam works with me. Yeah, he's helping me with Deal Room. Good to see you, Liam. And so, yes, all the previous winners, recipients, shouldn't call them winners, recipients. Everyone's a winner. Recipients are published on the website.
This question from me. I'm going to go out on a limb, and if you've used it for R&D purposes, you're not allowed to double dip with the R&D tax grant. Is that correct?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or can you? That'd be sweet.
No, you can't be double dipping.
Okay.
No, because that's R&D is a past thing. So with R&D, you spend money and then you claim your money back. R&D. So we're talking about future projects.
Seems like they would be into that.
Not past projects.
Any other questions?
And then we'll have a general chat that you can come and accost the VCs. Great to see them here. And me, if you like, before I scuttle away. Last question, sir.
Hi, I'm Alex from Simpler. I just have a question about the eligibility. So you're saying it's a project in the future, but you're already supposed to have a company, and you can have up to 25 people in your startup, but you're not supposed to already have received significant funding. So I'm not sure, are those interns? So I'm just asking, as an already existing company.
Correctly defined the borders and the barriers.
Yeah.
Well done.
So is it still
a lot of
reasonable
scope.
As a somewhat small startup, you received some funding, you still have some new projects. Is it still reasonable to apply?
I'm not going to answer that question, but we'll have a chat offline. But
right,
yes,
cool.
I think I pretty clearly defined eligibility and the sort of projects. So think about whether you fit. Happy to have a chat one-on-one.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
No, I think that's enough.
One
more. Okay, cool.
One thing, there's a lot of people here today. We do have this space until 9 o'clock. And I will apologise in advance because I will be running around trying to put this place back to a co-working space ready for 9 o'clock. So if you feel the need to help us with the chair, greatly welcome. But we will be back here in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yep. As mentioned before, we have Rob Nathan, who's going to be talking about angel investing. So if you're looking at raising funds from Perth Angels, angel investors in Perth, I shouldn't use that word, please come along in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you there.
But before we go, I'd like to just give a massive round of applause to our host, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie. And to Rampersand and Tribe, thank you very much.
And I'd also just like to thank as well Tim, Elaine, and all the other team from Afterworks in Rampasand for coming along this morning so early to share their knowledge. So thank you very much, and we'll see you here in 2 weeks.
Grab yourself some food.
Oh yeah, and there's breakfast. There is breakfast, so grab yourself some food on the way out, or now there's some rolls.
That's definitely it. Take care.